What's good, everybody? It's your boy Joe-B1 coming at you for another episode of Taungsdays. Am I right? Right here on the Fan Force Alliance channel. I hope everybody's doing okay today. And today we're going to be talking all about The Acolyte, all right? That is actually premiering a little bit later tonight at the time of this recording. But there's some other stuff that I want to cover. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about was the final trailer that we got. I was really intrigued. We even got a voice reveal for the what appears to be the antagonist of the series. You know, talking about an acolyte kills the dream of the Jedi, and I found that really intriguing. It's got me very curious about what we're gonna see as the series progresses. I imagine the first two episodes are probably going to be a lot of character development. So, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the video, and I'll record my reaction and a basic review without showing off too much spoilers, or no spoilers. I will keep it spoiler free. But yeah, so but anyways, man, that final trailer definitely raised my level of intrigue for sure. You know, really seems like a very menacing character that we're going to be introduced to, and leading up to that, we should get a lot of development of these characters. So I'm excited, man, and I hope you guys are too. So but that kind of leads me to my next point, so let's go ahead and get into it. This should be fun. Okay, so there's been a lot of talk, especially about that interview with Dave Filoni and the writer-director for the Acolyte series, and her name escapes me right now. I work a lot of crazy hours, so I apologize for that. My brain is not super sharp. And but I did want to say, man, that, you know, first of all, I watched the interview a couple of times, and I've seen some clips from the interview, and there is a lot of kind of unwarranted ugly talk about you know, this person who's bringing us something I think that's going to be pretty exciting. And I mean, there's nothing wrong, like, right, everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? But first of all, this show hasn't even come out yet, and it's like these people that are making these comments are making it their mission to try and kill the show. And every other thing they're talking about has to do with wokeness and just kind of running that drivel into the ground. And it's old, guys. It's old. It's really, really old. I'm sorry you're having a hard time dealing with the fact that we might, you know, with you know, women characters, or that you have a problem with the, you know, LGBTQ community in some way being represented in the series, or that you're worried that that's what's gonna happen, or, you know, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. If you don't like it, then don't like it. It's okay. But that doesn't mean that it's terrible just because you don't like it. And just because if I watch it and I love it, that doesn't mean that it's all of a sudden promoted to grand cinema. And that's the problem. Your opinion is your opinion, but it is not the opinion. It's not. You know, I know that in your ethos and in your personal world and in your circle, that opinion probably gets you a lot of really positive reactions and, oh yeah, bro, and all that kind of stuff. It's old. It's tired. It's dumb. Everyone's pretty much over it. And most of the Star Wars fandom is just looking forward to getting another series, you know, to watch, and to be able to dive into another area and era of the Star Wars timeline. So it's cool, you know, if you watch the series and you don't enjoy it, that's fine. But all the kind of hate-filled vitriol that's being spewed, it's worthless. It's worthless. It is a flash. It's worthless, man. It doesn't matter. You know, it gets a lot of views, and Star Wars outrage content is, I think, a market. and I think these guys are capitalizing on it. That's just my opinion, and they may try and come for my neck, and you're more than welcome. And that's 100 on it, fam. Moving on. Okay, guys, so last night I stayed up a little later than normal to watch the Acolyte premiere. So, and now I'm here at work. It's 4 or so in the morning, and you know, it's yeah. So my thoughts are fresh on it, and I'm gonna run that down with you guys right now. So the first thing I want to say is that it was fantastic. This show is really good. I know that there's going to be people that don't like it, and like I said in the previous segment, that's okay. But the minute you start trying to attack some of the fan base that really enjoys this series is when it becomes a problem, and when the Hip Hop Jedi feels the need to step in and say like stuff like he did before. But there are going to be a lot of people like me who really enjoy this series, and I mean, it is good, man. It is really good. I am a huge fan of Master Soul, and of course Jeki and Osha. I'm a big fan of those characters so far. I think Yord is funny, like surprisingly by accident maybe, but I find Yord pretty funny, and I'm really enjoying kind of getting to take a peek into this older era of the Jedi, and kind of seeing this kind of, because they kind of move with a certain swagger. I don't know if anybody else picked up on that, but there's a certain, you know, swag going on with those guys, right? And there are some people who may be tired of like diving into like the force wielder side of Star Wars, you know, and that's okay too, because that's, hey, you got Mandalorian and a couple other shows that are kind of a little bit more like that. But this is a different time, you know, and you're kind of getting to see the Jedi at an era where they're kind of near the height of their power in a way. You know, I'm not saying that this is the greatest that they ever were or whatever. I don't write the stuff. I'm just, you know, in comparison, you know, it just, there's just a certain air about their presence. And you're definitely picking up on that from this series for sure. There's a lot going on, and I have a feeling that this is going to get boiled down to some really interesting stuff. So, but hold on. Now, without any spoilers, okay, the direction I see part of this show going is that, you know, again, without trying to spoil anything, is that the antagonist here in the series is basically gunning for his boss's job, is the way that I look at it. And I could be wrong here, like I might be wrong, but just the way that I'm feeling about this antagonist, who we haven't even, you know, had a lot of time with, is that, you know, he's gunning for his boss's job, and he's building up that, you know, that ability to do that. And I think that's kind of what's going on, you know, is we're kind of seeing the very beginning inkling of the emergence of our favorite Star Wars bad guys. So I could be wrong, but it's just my thoughts on that, without trying to spoil anything that happened in any of the episodes that I've watched so far. Also, this show is kind of inspiring me to maybe check out the High Republic books or comics and stuff. Like, I have a few comics. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time in comics, but I do enjoy them, and I have a few in my collection. So, but I'm definitely very curious about some characters in this show. And it makes me want to know more about this era and this time period. So who knows? Check out, Light of the Jedi podcast, and maybe, which that's on Fan Force Alliance, by the way, but maybe we'll dive into that, as time goes on. So, but essentially, I just wanted to say, guys, I really enjoyed this series so far. The first 2 episodes are fantastic. And this is coming from a Star Wars fan from the original trilogy, to nowadays. I'm a big fan of just about everything except for Visions. It's cool, but it's just not my jam. And the holiday special, it's what it is. It is what it is. Anyways, guys, that's gonna wrap it up today for Taungsdays. Am I right? And again, this is your midweek / hump day Star Wars themed break from all the stuff we gotta deal with day in and day out, where you can just come hang out with your friend Joe here, Joby-Wan, the Hip Hop Jedi, whatever you want to call me. You come hang out and we can check out some stuff that's on the streaming services, or we could talk about some game that just dropped, or we can talk about some real life philosophy that Star Wars ties into. Who knows? We might check out some action figures. Who knows what's going to happen on Taungsdays? We do have a photo contest that runs in the Hip Hop Jedi Facebook group. Again, so far, no entries, and that's okay. Every week, I'm just going to feature some cool pictures from the group anyway. So if you're not a member over there, feel free to join in. And a big shout out to Jeffrey Alvord for taking care of that. And shout out to all the members of the group and every member of Fan Force Alliance. Guys, I appreciate you for watching Taungsdays. Am I right? I will see you guys later. Much love. May the Force be with you.